Our chubby hero, Haru, was having a rough time, constantly picked on by Arya and Kao. He'd escape reality using his neural linker. Hiding out in the bathroom, he'd log into a fantasy world where he took the form of, well, a pig. But things weren't simple there either. His crush, the cool and untouchable student council vice president Kuro Yukihime, was around too. One second, Haru was swinging a virtual tennis racket. The next, a cat girl named Kuroshima was dragging him back to class. She wanted him to snitch on his bullies, but Haru, being Haru, managed to spill her food and bolt instead. Back on the virtual tennis court, he found his high scores crushed by none other than Kuro Yukihime. She wasn't just there to play, she summoned him to the school lounge. The next day, Haru entered the lounge only to find all eyes on him. It was clearly a place for upperclassmen. A few boys blocked his way, but Kuro Yukihime's voice cut through, telling them to let him pass since he was her guest. After Haru sat down, she handed him a cable to link their minds, allowing them to communicate mentally. She then transferred a program to him, asking him to install it. Your concept of reality will be shattered, she promised. Without hesitation, Haru installed the program, called Brain Burst, and was welcomed to the accelerated world. Just then, his usual bully, Araya, showed up, looking for trouble. Kuro Yukihime provoked him, and Araya decided to take it out on Haru. As his fist flew toward Haru's face, Kuro Yukihime told him to shout, "Burst Link." With her, they both did, and suddenly, the world turned blue. She explained that they were in the accelerated world, a space for all burst linkers where their minds worked 1,000 times faster. Haru could now use this power whenever he was in danger, just like he was now. He could change the outcome of what was about to happen. This was the perfect chance to get rid of Araya for good. They decided to stage the scene, so the punch would make him hit Kuro Yukihime too. Once everything was set, she told him he could leave the moment by saying, "Burst out." After he said it, time resumed. Araya's punch sent Haru flying into Kuro Yukihime. She hit her head and started bleeding, but mentally assured Haru she was fine. Security rushed in and arrested Araya for assault. Haru was relieved, knowing he'd never have to deal with Araya again, and he had done it in the smartest way possible. The security cameras caught the whole thing, leaving Araya no way out. Before heading home, Kuro Yukihime told Haru not to take off his neural linker or connect to the global net until he returned to school. That evening, Haru walked home with his friends, Chiyu and Taku. But feeling overwhelmed, he soon ran home alone. The next morning, he woke up from a strange dream and went to ask his mom for lunch money. She had to send it through the neural linker, and Haru, forgetting the warning, connected to the global net to receive it. The moment he stepped outside, he accelerated without a command. He found himself in a strange arena, clad in silver armor, announced as the new challenger against a terrifying opponent. His stage name is Silver Crow, while the person he is going to fight is known as Ash Roller. There are spectators around the arena, and when he looks closely, he finds out that they both have health bars. Ash Roller charges toward him ferociously, but Haru is too scared to know what to do, and he ends up getting defeated. When he returns to the normal world, he tells Snow about this, and Snow makes fun of him. She counts it as a punishment for him breaking the rules. Haru argues that he forgot about the instruction that Snow gave him not to connect to the global net. To further explain it, Snow tells him that the Brain Burst program is basically a multiplayer fighting game. However, they enjoy the several perks that come with accelerating. Snow takes him into the Excel world so she can show him some basic things. She shows him where the challenge icon is located. Once the icon is activated, you can see the number of burst linkers in the area and you can choose to fight anyone. Currently, only he and Snow are in the area. Snow's identity in the Excel world is Black Lotus. Snow tells Haru to challenge her to a fight so she can put him through what it entails. She assures Haru that she won't fight him but waits for the timer to run down so the match can end in a draw. He challenges Snow, and they both transform into their battle avatar. Haru dons his silver armor as usual. Snow informs him that the Burst program designed his avatar of what he is ashamed of. He is fat, so his avatar is a scrawny, shining armor. Snow asks Haru about the details of the fight he had that morning. He reveals that he saw words like level 1 and something called burst points. The burst points he had after the game were reduced from 99 to 89. Snow then explains to him that burst points are the reason they engage in challenges and fights. Whenever a linker accelerates, they lose a point, and the only way to get points in the Excel world is to challenge others and win. A victory against an enemy of the same level gives the linker 10 points, while 10 points are lost if the linker loses. The ability to accelerate is a great power that comes in handy in several aspects of life. It can be used to win in real fights, score good grades in exams, and even gain an advantage in any sports activities. However, a linker will lose the ability to accelerate again once he or she loses all their burst points. The Brain Burst program automatically uninstalls itself and blocks all access to reinstallation. The fear that he will never be able to speak to Snow again if he loses the Brain Burst grips Haru. He wonders why someone as elegant as Snow has decided to associate with him. Snow assures Haru that she holds him in high esteem more than he thinks. She extends her hands to him, but he refuses to take her hand. Snow then tells Haru that the next thing on his list is to know how to duel. When the duo returns to the real world, some students approach them. One of them asks Snow what her relationship with Haru is, and she reveals that she asked Haru out, but he refused her. Everyone is shocked to hear this, because Snow is the one who rejects boys and not the other way around. Furthermore, Haru doesn't meet the standards of boys who should be close to Snow. Haru gets scared after Snow's confession. He claims that people will start to bully him more now, especially boys, who have always wanted to be close to Snow. Later on, the two are about to leave the school, and Snow tells him to be prepared to fight and challenge Ash once again. Haru and Snow have gone through all the basic perks of his avatar, so he can have a better chance against Ash. Haru steps into the Axel world and challenges Ash. He lies in wait for Ash to show up, so he can knock him off his bike. His plan goes accordingly and he is able to knock Ash off of his bike. After this, he runs to the top of a building, waiting for the time to run out so he can be declared the winner. Since he has damaged Ash, he will be declared the winner once the timer runs out and Ash is not able to retaliate. Haru believes that he has won the battle. Ash shocks him when he gets on his bike, and he rides it on the wall to get to where Haru is. Ash revealed that he got the wall driving ability after he defeated Haru that morning. He continues to deal damage to Haru and Haru has no chance against Ash. Haru tries using his special move, but it still ends up failing against Ash. Haru looks up to see Snow standing in the distance. His determination not to disappoint Snow makes him think of a good way to defeat Ash. All he needs to do is render his bike useless. Ash finds a way to grab onto Ash's bike and wears off the tire. With this, the bike is useless and Haru wins the match. Haru got back his lost points and even extra. Ash was already at level 2 when Haru fought him again. Snow congratulates Haru for his victory and suggests that they go out to eat. Just then, Chihyu shows up to challenge Snow. She wants to know what Snow is up to and why she has been hanging around Haru recently. Chihyu claims that she has been Haru's friend longer than anybody in the school, and she deserves to know what is going on. Snow just spoils everything by saying in front of Chihyu and everybody that she and Haru are going on a date. Haru is dumbfounded when he hears this, but there is nothing he can do. He just stands there in awe until Snow drags him away from the scene. Chihyu can do nothing but look on as the two walk away. As they walk away, Snow tells Haru that she has been interested in Chihyu before now, and that is the reason she came through Haru to get to her. However, she is not ready to divulge the reason why she is interested in Chihyu. The two enter a cafe to have a drink and discuss via the neural linker. While they do so, Snow explains that the Axel world is divided into 6 major legions. They are ruled by 6 level 9 burst linkers. These linkers are blue, red, yellow, green, purple, and white. They are known as the 6 kings of pure color. Snow explains further that, in the 7 years since the release of Brain Burst 2039 by an unknown developer, nobody has ever reached level 10 due to the game's harsh rules. To get to level 10, you need to defeat other level 9 linkers. The problem is that a single loss will take away all of your points and the program will be forcefully uninstalled. There is no way to come back to the program because it scans its users' brain waves. The reason the program is only available to a few is that the development of neural linkers began 15 years ago, and whoever will be a linker must have been wearing a neural linker all of their lives. The current people in the Axel world are all kids. It is perfectly hidden from the outside world. Once it is uninstalled, there will be no traces of it. Whatever someone says about it will be dismissed as nonsense. She reveals that the level 9 linkers have all made a pact not to attack each other because of the harsh rules. Haru asks if Snow plans to challenge the level 9 linkers, but she says no. She explains to Haru that she already tried that. She narrates that there were originally 7 kings of pure colors and she was one. However, she challenged the others to a fight, but they refused. She cut down the king, suggesting peace, and this infuriates his girlfriend. Snow was forced to fight against the others, but she could not win, and she later linked out after 30 minutes of intense fighting. She has been on the run for 2 years now. She is regarded as the biggest traitor of the Axel world and also a coward. Snow explains that the game states that whoever manages to get to level 10 will meet the developer and learn about the real reason why the game was created. This has been Snow's priority. She wants to know the essence of the Burst program. She believes that the program is more than it looks, and she wants to know more. This is the reason she is trying to get to level 10. After Haru tells the story, Snow asks if he hates her, but he says no. He also believes that the true aim of a gamer should be to get to the highest level. He assures Snow that he will continue to support her because he wants to reach level 10 one day too. Snow then reveals that she has not signed into Excel World using her neural linker since 2 years ago. She has been using her status to sign in through public neural linkers, just like the schools. However, someone was able to discover her real identity some months back, and the person challenged her to a duel. She has been careful of real-life attacks since then. The person has challenged her more than 10 times through the school network in the last 2 months. The person has been taking away her points since then. She doesn't want to fight the person with her true avatar, because this will give the person confirmation that she is truly the Black Lotus. The person can in turn sell her information to the kings and she is practically done for if that happens. The only way she can get out of this is to know the real identity of her opponent too. She reveals the name of her opponent's avatar, which is Cyan Pile, and the person is in level 4. She believes that her opponent is also desperate for more points because the person is carrying out frenzied attacks. Snow further explains that she has done some work on who the culprit might be. All of her clues lead directly to one person, and that is Chihyu. Haru is not ready to believe this because Chiyu has always been bad in games. However, he promises to find out more about her when he cables with her. On his way home, Haru runs into his friend, Taku. The two take a stroll together while sharing a drink. Haru asks Taku if he thinks Chiyu can harm others for her own personal gain. He knows that Chiyu will never do such a thing, but he just needed to ask, he says. After this, Taku goes his own way and Haru continues his journey. He makes his way to Chiyu's house and reluctantly asks her to cable with him. Chiyu is surprised by this, but she accepts. She checks under her bed to find a cable for them to use. The cable is short, so the two will have to be very close to each other while using the cable. Haru plugs in the cable, and after the connection is successful, he starts to distract Chiyu with random talks while he goes through the system files to find the brain burst program. Chiyu tells Haru that she is worried about losing Haru to Snow. She saw the two together and got jealous. Haru reminds her that she has a boyfriend. She informs Haru that she doesn't care if she has a boyfriend or not. She just wants to stay friends with Taku and Haru forever. Haru is already relieved that Chiyu doesn't know anything about the program he is looking for. He is about to sign out when he sees a backdoor in Chiyu's system files. He wants to continue further but realizes that the person who put it there might be watching. He just needs to play along for now. At least, he has been able to confirm that Chiyu is not Cyan Pile. Chiyu tells Haru that she doesn't mind if Haru is with Snow, as long as he is happy. The following day, Haru gets on his way to school. He finds Snow waiting for him. He tells Snow that he cabled to Chiyu to conduct his investigations. Upon hearing this, Snow starts to ask weird questions like how long the cable was and how close the two were to each other. She didn't even bother to find out if Chiyu was Cyan Pile. Snow runs away when she learns that the two are cabled together in her room. Haru wonders what is wrong with Snow and why she is acting all weird. Later that day, Haru is interviewed by the press club concerning his relationship with Princess Snow. He tells the crew that he has nothing to do with the princess. He even believes that Snow hates him because she is always angry at him. With everything he has said, the crew can clearly figure out that Snow is angry because she is jealous. Haru doesn't believe that Snow can be jealous. Haru goes to the restroom to think about this. He cannot get his head around the fact that someone as important as Snow will get jealous because of him. He doesn't want to give himself empty hope. Later that day, he meets with Snow again. Snow apologizes for her behavior earlier. She hands Haru a cable so that they can cable together as they walk home. Haru then tells her all the information he was able to gather concerning Chiyu and Cyan Pile. He says Cyan Pile is basically using Chuyu's system to mask his own location. Snow notices that Haru is acting strange while he is talking to her, and she asks why. Haru turns to look at her, and he claims that Snow is just using him as her pawn. He believes that Snow will throw him away once she is done using him. All of this rings a bell in Snow's heart and she feels heartbroken. She tries to apologize for her behavior earlier on, but Haru doesn't believe her. He says Snow is too perfect to be with a loser like him. Snow is completely heartbroken, and she is forced to slap Haru across the face. Haru looks up to see her eyes full of tears. She calls him an idiot and is about to start explaining herself when a car charges toward the duo. They have no time to dodge the car and they are forced to enter the Axel world. Haru finds out that the driver of the car is Araya. He is probably after them because of what they did to him. Snow reveals that she has the ability to use an ultimate power that is reserved for only level 9 linkers. However, this ability will take 99% of her burst points. Haru doesn't want her to go through with this because he knows she will be putting herself at risk. Snow insists, and she confesses her love to Haru. She reveals that she didn't believe at first that she loves him, but there is no other way to explain what she is feeling. She is willing to sacrifice herself to save the person she loves. Haru keeps crying and telling her not to do so, but she insists. She also reveals that she had to enter the Excel world before she could break Haru's high score in the tennis game. She said this to tell Haru that he is also special in his own way. She wants Haru to continue with what they started. She wants Haru to climb to the top and become the ultimate king of the Axel world. She pecks Haru before activating her physical burst power, allowing her to slightly change Haru's position. However, she is fully in the way of the car. The moment the duo links out of the Axel world, the car rams into Snow. Haru has been pushed out of the way, so he is safe. He turns around to see Snow lying in the pool of her own blood. Snow is rushed to the hospital where she is taken to the emergency ward where she is being operated on. Haru sits at the reception, waiting for good news from the doctors. One of the nurses shows up to give him Snow's diary. He accidentally opens the diary to see a picture of himself in there. After several hours of a surgical section, the doctor comes to tell Haru that they have done their best for Snow, and the next couple of hours will determine if she will make it or not. Later on, Haru asks the nurse to find out if Snow's neurolinker is still active, and she says yes. Haru immediately realizes that anyone can just come into the hospital and challenge Snow. She will be at a disadvantage and the rest of her burst points can also be stolen. Haru and Snow are currently the only people in the hospital who can use the burst link, but he is fearful that others might join in. Haru is determined to protect Snow whatever it takes. Meanwhile, Cyan Pile has found out through Chuyu's bug that Snow is in the hospital. He starts to make his way to the hospital. Soon afterward, Haru is at the hospital when he sees Taku working through the front door. He is surprised to see him at the hospital. He knows that there is no way that he could have heard about Snow's accident unless he got the info from Chuyi's back door. This is confirmation for Haku that Taku is Cyan Pile. He was able to open that door because of his access to Chuyi. The two sight each other and they prepare to battle themselves. The two transform into their battle armor. Taku changes into a bigger blue armor while Haru dons his usual silver and scrawny armor. Taku reveals all the pain he has been feeling because Chiyu and Haru are close. Haru scolds him for cheating his way through everything with the burst power. The good grades he has always had and the kendo championship he won have been scams. Taku then reveals that he became a burst linker 1 year ago. He was asked to join by the captain of the kendo club, who is a close aide to the Blue King. He was adored by all because of his uniqueness, and some are there. The two start charging toward each other. Haru is confident that he can take on Taku and survive. The two attack each other, but Haru tries to explain. He soon realizes that there is no way he can take on Taku in such a tight place. He runs to the roof to wait for him. Upon getting to the roof, he sees several other players spectating the battle. Even though Haru's avatar has lost one arm, he is still not scared to take on Taku. Taku shows up on the roof and Haru uses his speed to attack him. He is able to land several blows on him. He even ends up punching him to the ground. With all the punches he has received, Taku is able to cook up a powerful attack that knocks Haru back. He charged up his main attack when Haru was punching him. Haru tries to go again but one of his legs falls off. He now has one arm and one leg left to fight a much capable Taku. There is no way for Haru to escape from Taku. Taku talks about how Chiyu holds Haru important. He says Chiyu doesn't even look at him the way she looks at Haru. Because of this, he is ready to eliminate Haru. Taku pins him to the floor and hits him with his special gravity attack to send Haru down into the basement. Haru doesn't die from the attack, but he only has a little HP left. Taku decides to leave him until the timer runs out so he can be declared the winner. Taku faces the spectators and sends a message to the Blue King through them. He assures them that he is still strong and can take on anyone. Haru manages to stand up in the basement with the thought that he has lost the fight. He sees Snow lying down in the basement and he moves closer to her. While he is thinking about everything Snow told him, he remembers a particular phrase where Snow told him that he needs to fight till the end and that is what makes a victor. Haru's avatar starts to twitch and it suddenly develops wings. With his newly acquired wings, he flies out of the basement at a blinding speed. The people watching the battle are shocked to see Haru in the sky. They call his newly acquired skill the aviation ability. The need to contact the headquarters runs around the group. It turns out that Haru's avatar is the first aviating avatar in the Axel world. Taku is angry that Haru is in the sky and he is now getting the chance to look down on him. Taku prepares to attack Haru with everything he has. At the same time, Haru flies high into the sky and he dives down toward Taku at a blinding speed. He remembers Snow telling him that he would one day become the fastest linker in the world. Haru dodges Taku's punch and he throws him into the air with his own attack. Taku starts to beg Haru not to drop him because if he does so, he will lose all of his points and that will be the end of the burst program for him. Haru scolds Taku for hurting Snow and also taking Chiyu for a fool. Taku finally accepts his mistake and he says Haru is the winner of the duel. He wriggles off Haru's hand, but Haru catches him again. Haru then tells him to admit that he has won the battle and he won't challenge him again. Haru wants Taku to become his ally and fight under Snow, just like him. Haru assures Taku that they will tell Chiyu about everything. Taku accepts this and Haru slowly takes him to the ground. He is wondering if he has made the right decision when Snow shows up on the scene. Haru is very happy to see Snow and he runs over to meet her. Snow reveals that the only thing that kept her sane in the darkness was Haru's voice. The two hug each other and Snow compliments him on his new wings. Snow then tells Taku that she will not reveal what her true form is. She activates her true self and a black shining armor appears. The spectators immediately recognize her as Black Lotus, the biggest traitor in the Axel world. Haru takes Snow for a flight. Snow uses the opportunity to tell those who are watching that she has come back to put an end to the peace that has lasted for quite some time. She urges them to take up their arms in preparation. She is naming her new legion, the Nega Nebulas. Now, in the real world, Haru visits Snow in her hospital room. He returns Snow's diary to her. Snow then tells him to start calling her by her real name. Haru silently tells Snow that he doesn't know what her real name is. She is about to tell him what her real name is when the scene fades away, leaving us to continue to guess what her real name is. In the next scene, Taku has a meeting with the Blue Knight about what his punishment should be, but the Blue Knight decides to exempt him from punishment. Later on, Haru visits Snow at the hospital. She is still recovering from her injuries, and she is still under the hospital's care. Haru informs her that he and Taku have told Chiyu everything she needs to know about the burst program, and how they have been lying to her. As expected, he says Chiyu was very angry at them, and she hasn't spoken to them since then. To atone for his sins, Taku has offered to help Haru get to level 2. They will engage in tag matches for this. Snow is impressed with Haru and Taku's relationship. Taku betrayed him, but he still considers him his friend. She believes that that is one of the greatest perks of a friendship. Haru sees Taku as his best friend. Meanwhile, Taku has withdrawn from the kendo team at his school. Soon afterward, Haru and Taku enter the Excel world to engage in tag matches. Haru successfully reaches level 2, and Taku is impressed by this. He assures Haru that he has got his back till he reaches level 4. This is part of his journey to pay for what he did. It is now time for them to burst out. Before they leave, Haru decides to accept the option to go to level 2 before Taku can stop him. He soon finds out that he has made a grave mistake. Leveling up takes 300 burst points. Haru now has 8 reserve burst points left. Taku quickly tells him to burst out before he is challenged by anyone. Taku blames himself for not telling Haru beforehand that he needs 300 points to level up. However, Haru also says it is his fault for being stupid. Haru got excited and forgot the rules. Taku suggests giving Haru some of his points. He will leave Haru to defeat him multiple times so he can get points, but Haru refuses the offer. He wants to follow in Snow's footsteps. Taku then warns Haru not to make any global connection under any circumstances. Later on, the two visit Chiyu at her house. The duo brings her ice cream as appeasement. She wants to know more about the Burst Link program. They try explaining to her, but she is not getting the concept behind it. Taku then tells Chiyu to throw a book at him. Using the Burst Link, he easily dodges all of the books at close range. Chiyu gets frustrated and ends up throwing the book at Haru, who is trying to explain how things work for her. After their little demonstration, Taku forces the two to eat the remaining ice cream that they brought for her. While they are eating the cream, Taku gets the idea that they can ask someone called Bouncer for help. Haru visits Snow at the hospital once again, but he is scared to tell her that he has lost almost all of his burst points. Snow will be discharged from the hospital on Wednesday, and this spells trouble for Haru. He needs something done and is quick about it. He did not even tell Snow that he had reached level 2. After leaving the hospital, Haru meets with Taku. Taku informs him that Bouncer is the only bodyguard in Brain Burst. His avatar name is Aqua Current. The Bouncer helps partner linkers who are low on points in tag matches until their points return to safe levels. The amazing thing is that Bouncer is in level 1. However, someone needs to meet certain conditions before he or she can hire the Bouncer. The first condition is that you must be a level 2 linker or lower. Secondly, the Bouncer must know your real-world identity before he can help you. Haru will be the one to meet him because he is the one who needs help. They have already set up a meeting, and Haru would show the Bouncer his identity when he reaches there. Haru enters a cafeteria where he is to meet the Bouncer. He is presented with a device when he enters the cafeteria. He is required to enter his avatar name. When he does, he is informed that his payment has been confirmed and should wait for a couple of hours before the mission begins. Haru stands up to go to the bathroom, but he trips and falls into a lady sitting in the opposite direction. He apologizes for this. While packing the lady's belongings, he sees a similar device to the one he just used in the lady's bag, with his avatar name and face on it. He immediately figures out that the Bouncer is a lady, and she is the one standing in front of him. The duo later sits down to have a drink. The Bouncer offers him a cable, so that they can talk through the cable without anyone eavesdropping on their conversation. Meanwhile, Taku has gone to the hospital to visit Snow, but she uses the opportunity to challenge him to a duel. On the other hand, Chiyu has found out that Taku has withdrawn from the kendo team. Meanwhile, Taku is still wondering why Snow has challenged him to a duel. Snow is not ready to discuss this with him. She just wants Taku to stop talking and fight her. Back in the cafeteria, Aqua Current wonders if Haru accidentally hit her or if he did it intentionally to know her identity. However, in the course of the discussion, she finds out that Haru is just pure clumsy. She tells Haru how popular he is currently in the Excel world, but Haru doesn't have any idea about this. He has so much fame in the Excel world and he doesn't even know. Aqua Current then reveals her real name to Haru. She says she is Karen. She starts to explain what they need to get Haru's points back to a safe level. She offers to help Haru to get to 50 points before leaving him. They enter into the Axel world and Karen starts to select the opponents that they will fight. She selects opponents that have a higher level than them, and this surprises Haru. She informs Haru that their points will be minimally deducted if they fight opponents that are at least 6 levels higher than them. Haru wants to know if Karen stayed in level 1 because of this. She tells Haru that this is one of the reasons, but she will tell him the other ones later on. Karen finds the perfect opponent for them. Sandduct and Nickel Doll are the opponents they are to fight. She assures Haru that they are bound to win as long as he performs to the best of his ability. They get to the stage where they are to fight their opponent and Haru finds out that Karen's avatar is water. Their opponents soon show up too. The fight between Taku and Snow continues. Snow wants to know why Taku is not participating in the kendo competition. Taku claims that he did so in a bid to atone for his sins. He considers his sins very great, and he needs a way to pay for them. His withdrawal is one of the ways for him. On the other stage, Haru and Karen are having it tough against their opponents. Silver Doll uses electricity, and this proves to be a problem. Snow berates Taku for thinking that his abandoning everyone will help pay for his sins. Snow is well aware that Taku plans to uninstall Brain Burst once he helps Haru get to level 4, but she doesn't think that is the best solution. He is only going to make things hard for those who love him and depend on him. This includes Chiyu, Silver, and Sand mock Haru and Karen that they have no teamwork, and this is the reason they are going to lose. Karen and Haru soon find a way to split Sand and Silver apart. However, Haru still gets caught in Silver's electricity field. Haru fights so hard to free himself. he remembers his best friend, Taku. He is determined to win because he wants a fresh start with his best friend. Karen jumps in between the currents and their opponents are surprised to see that she is not getting electrocuted. She explains that her avatar is made up of pure water that has no particles or residues. There is no way that she will conduct electricity. I don't think this logic makes any sense, but we will go with it, either way. With this, Haru is able to conjure a powerful attack to defeat their opponents. On the other hand, Snow has also been able to get through to Taku. She has found a way to convince him not to give up. Later on, Karen tells Haru that she will take away all of his burst points as payment for her services. She takes him into the Axel world to fight him, but Haru refuses to fight back. He now considers Karen his friend, and there is no need to fight her. When Karen sees this, she reveals that she is just messing with Haru. She wanted to see how he would react to her. She is also impressed that Haru considers her a friend. She narrates to him that she once had friends too. She even had a master that she cherished that much. She is not going to hurt Haru, but she is going to take all of his memories of her into his head. She activates the memory leak ability to siphon all of Haru's memories that he has of her. Haru opens his eyes and starts to wonder what he was doing at the cafeteria all alone. There is even a cable in front of him, but he has no idea who owns it. He has lost all memories of Karen. The next day, Haru and Chiyu resume school to find out that Taku has transferred to their school. This comes as a total shock to them. Unknown to them, Snow was the one who convinced Taku to do so. Up next, Haru starts to train to be faster and more agile against air attacks. His main and unique ability is his aviation skills. It will be disastrous for him to not be able to use that skill to support the team. He failed during one of their battles, and this is the reason he is training hard so that such will not repeat itself. However, Taku feels that he is too hard on himself. Taku says the ability will come to him very easily. He just needs time, and he will be fine. The battle for territories will be coming up more regularly, and he needs to be able to help out the team. He feels he is the weak link of the team, and he wants this to change. Later that day, Haru gets home to find a girl at his house. His mother is not around and the girl introduces herself as his third cousin. Haru doesn't believe this, and he starts to dig around. He receives an inbox from his mother, telling him that his second cousin will be coming over to stay for the next 3 days because her parents are not home. Haru sighs in frustration when he hears this, but there is nothing he can do. After this, Haru decides to take a bath. While he is doing so, he searches through the family's archives to know if the girl will appear in one of the pictures. Moments later, the girl enters the bathroom and offers to bathe with Haru. Haru is completely blown away by this, and he even suggests that the girl wait a little, but she refuses. Just then, Haru notices the tan around her neck and this shocks him. He knows that this is a result of the neuro linker that they usually wear. He asks her if she is a new burst linker because of the traits that he has seen. He also reveals that there is nothing about her in the family's archives. The girl realizes that she has been found out and she changes tone immediately. She was the one who even forged the mail from Haru's mother. The girl introduces herself as Scarlet Rain and she promises to deal with Haru. She is about to leave the bathroom, but she slips and almost hits her head if not for Haru's timely intervention. In the process of saving her, Haru accidentally touches her small melons, and this infuriates her more. Before leaving the bathroom, she promises to eliminate Haru for touching her. After her departure, Haru contacts Snow to ask her who Scarlet is. Snow is surprised to hear this name and she reveals that Scarlet is the second king of the Red Legion. Just then, Scarlet comes back into the bathroom and Haru can clearly see that he is done for. Before he can react, Scarlet has activated the burst link, and she immediately challenges Haru to a duel. Scarlet transforms into red armor. Haru thinks that she has reached the end of her transformation, but he is in for a shock. More body parts start to join and attach to her suit and she soon looks like a fortress with long guns. Haru realizes that he has no chance against Scarlet and her giant machine. He tries to escape, but Scarlet destroys the entire building. They are standing in to try and trap Haru. However, she ends up being the one caught in the rubble. Haru is glad that Scarlet will not find a way out. His laughter turns sour when Scarlet bursts out of the rubble with her radiation blast. Scarlet fires anti-air missiles at Haru to try and take him down. However, Haru's training pays off, and he is able to maneuver his way through. He charges towards Scarlet and it would have been a finishing move. But Scarlet separates her fortress and Haru falls into the rubble with speed, causing him to be trapped. He has no escape, and Scarlet is declared the winner of the duel. She then tells Haru what her request is. She wants to meet with Haru's Legion Master, Snow. She demands that Snow meet her in real life. The following day, Haru tells Snow about everything that happened. Snow starts to wonder why the Red King will want to meet her. Haru then tells Snow that Scarlet promises to explain why she wants to meet with her when they finally meet. Snow wants to know how Scarlet was fighting and what her techniques were. She is surprised to learn that Scarlet moved her fortress a bit. She is known as the immovable fortress because she just stays in one place and attacks her opponent. She has been using all of her level up bonuses to improve her long distance firepower. During the discussion, Snow accidentally slips and we get to find out that Scarlet was the one who took over after Snow eliminated the first Red King some years back. On the other hand, Snow is worried that she will be challenged one day by one of her party members, but Haru leaves her chair to hold Snow's hand. He assures her that he will never challenge her to a fight. He will always fight beside her and not against her. Up next, Haru and Snow find Taku, who is eating alone. They want him to help deduce the reason why Scarlet wants to see Snow. Taku says he doesn't have enough data to find out why Scarlet wants to see Snow. However, he knows what Scarlet would have done if Haru hadn't found out about her identity. She would have lived with him for 3 days and got him to be sympathetic with her. Once she has successfully established a relationship with Haru, she will recruit him into her legions. She can then use the ultimate ability of the Legion Masters to eliminate Haru. The ability is known as the Judgment Blow. Any Legion members who get hit by the skill lose all points and access to the Brain Burst forever. Assuming Haru joined the Red Legion and recruited Haru, they would have all the power over Haru and his avatar. Snow then decides that she will be meeting with Scarlet by 4 p.m. that day at Haru's place. Later that day, Haru and Snow get to Haru's place to find Scarlet, already waiting for them. She has made herself at home and she is even acting like she owns the house. She has access to the house because Haru's mother issued her an instance key. Snow and Scarlet finally meet each other and the tension between the two is quite observable. Taku soon joins them for the meeting too. They sit down at the table and Taku suggests that they all introduce each other again. This time around, with their real names. Scarlet reveals that her real name is Yuniko. When it gets to Snow's turn, she refuses to give her real name again. Yuniko doesn't want to disrupt the meeting, so she just goes with the flow. Yuniko says she used over 200 points to find out the real identity of Haru. Snow asks Yuniko what she wants. She reveals that she needs Haru's help to destroy the Calamity Armor. Snow is surprised to hear this, and she actually argues that the Calamity Armor has been destroyed. Yuniko says the armor has returned again. Haru has no idea about what they are saying, and to get a good grip of it, Snow suggests that they show him through the cables. The 4 of them connect together so that they can both share the information. Snow activates the direct link, which takes them to a memory footage being played directly from Snow's brain. The events they are about to watch are from 2.5 years ago. This is the battle between the 7 kings of pure color and the person known as the Chrome Disaster. Snow narrates that Chrome Disaster is the name of the legendary burst linker who existed 7 years ago. He fought cruelly and brought pain to others. The 7 kings come together to fight him and try to defeat him. When he was defeated, he screamed out in pain and cursed the Axel world. He promises that he will always come to haunt them. He was eliminated, but his enhanced armor remained in the world. Soon afterward, the armor possesses one of the linkers who participated in the examination of Chrome. The possessed linker starts doing a lot. He eliminated several other links. He was defeated, but this same thing happened 3 more times. The king later takes on the newly possessed linker and defeats him. There are no traces of the armor after the linker was defeated. This is the reason Snow is arguing that there is nothing like the armor coming back to life. Yukino then tells the group that the armor has awakened again. The possessed linker is one of his Legion members. He is known as Cherry, and he was a good guy. The guy is already destroying the pact that the Legions made. Yuniko wants them to catch Cherry so she can hit him with the Judgment Blow. Yuniko promises to work with Snow and the Legion if she agrees to help. Yuniko says she will find a way to pin Cherry down. The group is to move and meet back at Haru's place in English. Haru wonders why they have decided to come to his place again. When it is time for them to leave, Snow decides to stay back at Haru's place because Yuniko will not be going home either. The trio soon goes shopping to buy what they want and rest. Upon getting home, the two take a bath together. Haru is tempted to join the two inside the bathroom. After this, they engage in some gaming activities. The following day, Haru and Snow prepare to go to school. Yuniko will be home trying to pinpoint the location where Chrome Burster will appear. She attends a boarding school and she has gotten 3 days pass, so she has no issues about school. While in the elevator, Snow gets down to fix Haru's ties for him. The elevator door opens when she is not done with the adjustment. Haru is shocked to see Chiyu at the elevator door, looking at them. Haru almost craps his pants because of this. Upon getting to school, Haru and Teru discuss the possibility of Chiyu becoming a burst linker with Snow. They want to know if the program will be successfully installed in Chiyu's systems. Snow asks if Chiyu passes the first criteria of having a neural linker equipped since birth, and Haru says yes. The second condition is cerebral speed. She also needs to be good at VR games to avoid being picked on easily when she joins the program. Suitability matters most. In addition, the Brain Burst copy license, which is also the right to make someone your child, can only be used once. Once it turns out to be a failure, you can never use it again. Haru realizes that Snow used her only chance to make him a burst linker. For what they are planning, Taku will be Chiyu's parent. Haru starts to wonder who Snow's parent is. During class, Haru calls her into the VR world to talk to her. He is curious about who her parent is. She reveals that her parent was once close to her. They liked each other so much, but nowadays, she doesn't even want to see her parent. Her parent is now her greatest enemy. However, she cannot go after her parent because they both know each other's real identities. Haru then reassures Snow that he will never fight her no matter what happens. Snow is happy to hear this, and she draws close to Haru. She reveals her happiness that Haru is the one she chose. After school hours, they go to their separate houses to get things done before reassembling for the day's mission. Haru gets home to find out from Yuniko that Chrome Buster hasn't moved. Haru then asks Yuniko if she hates Snow. Yuniko assures Haru that she doesn't hate Snow. She is even thankful to her for eliminating her predecessor, because there is no way she would have become the Red King. In fact, Yuniko sees Snow as someone amazing. She is the only person who is trying to play the game as it is. Others are scared to get to level 10 of the game, but Snow isn't. She wants to know what will happen once they get to level 10 and she appreciates this. This should be the aim of all gamers. All games should have an end or it will become boring in the long run. Yuniko says she blames herself for what is currently happening. Chrome Burster was in her legion, but he wanted a challenge, and that is the reason he reached out to the Calamity Armor. Haru understands everything that Yuniko has said, and he points out that the joy of a game is the end. They should always aim for the end of the game. Moments later, Snow and Taku show up to join the two at home. Not long after that, Yuniko finds out that Chrome Burster is on the move. To intercept Chrome, Snow says they will need to access the true battleground of the Excel world. Haru is now in level 4, so it shouldn't be a problem for him. He only needs 10 points to enter there and Haru has 10 points to spare. Snow activates the unlimited burst, and they get transferred to a white and black scenario. Snow explains that they used the present reality to fight the Calamity Armor before. Haru notices that there is no countdown in this current VR world. Yuniko explains to him that he is in the unlimited field. Once they are there, they can stay forever, but they need to be level 4 or higher. A day in this field is equivalent to 3 years in the real world. Snow says the power might be good, but using it too much starts to tell on the soul. Since they already know where Chrome is heading to hunt, they need to cut him off. The job is all on Haru. He will be the one to transport them to the location. He can fly, so he just has to carry them there. As they proceed to the hunting ground, Snow reveals that Haru will still have his major fight here and win someday to get to level 9. There are also some monsters that can be defeated in this world that give points. However, it is not as many points as that of defeating a fellow Burst Linker. The Burst Linkers also use this world to fight each other as much as they want. They are in the middle of this discussion when missiles come flying at them. Haru manages to crash land them in a ditch. Before they realize what is happening, they are already surrounded by a bunch of enemies with the Yellow King as their leader. It turns out that the Yellow King was the one who planned everything out in the first place. Yellow King claims that he was looking for someone in the Red Legion to pay for the sins of their member who broke the pact. However, Haru is able to figure out that he is lying. He was the one who hid the Calamity Armor and later gave it to the rogue Red member so he could have something to target the Red King for. His aim is to defeat the Red King and reach level 10. He has already planned everything out. Yuniko tries to state the fact that she should be the one to punish her member by herself, and no one else, but the Yellow King is not ready to accept that. Haru suggests that they should retreat and just log out, but he is informed that there is no way to leave this world without making use of one of the exit points. You cannot just leave this world just like other worlds. They figure out the nearest exit, and the only choice they have is to fight through the bunch of enemies in front of them. Yuniko mocks Yellow King for making a miscalculation because there is no way he would have thought that Black Lotus, the Black King, would be with them. Snow being there is an added bonus, and there is no way they will lose with her on their side. Just then, Yellow King reveals that he came prepared. He played a video recording of where Snow killed the former Red King for Snow to see. The guilt of what happened then overwhelms Snow, and she loses her will to fight. She falls to the ground and passes out because of this. Yellow King makes fun of her for trying to reach level 10 without having the right resolve. Yuniko is about to activate her enhanced weaponry, but Taku stops her. He reminds her that she will not be able to move once she activates her weaponry. Their aim is to reach an exit point, and that kills the idea. Taku promises to protect them till they make it to the exit point, since they will be coming for Snow if they defeat Yuniko. He doesn't mind sacrificing himself. Haru will carry Snow and try to get her out of there. Yellow King tells his men to attack Haru and his group. They start running toward an exit, but Yellow King uses his ultimate skill, which is an illusion to make it look like the ground is spinning. This is the first time that Haru will be affected by such power, so it really does a big deal on him. They get pinned down, but Taku uses himself as a shield to protect the rest of the team. He even manages to take out some of the enemies. After taking in so much damage, Taku gets eliminated. Haru tries to wake Snow up, but Yuniko says she won't wake up unless she regains her will to fight. Since there is no other way for them, Yuniko says she has no choice but to activate her weaponry. She wants Taku to get Snow out of there, but Haru says he doesn't leave his friends behind. Yuniko is surprised that Haru now considers her his friend. She tells Haru to eliminate any enemies that get close to her while she is shooting down those at long range. She activates her enhanced weaponry and turns into a giant fortress with long guns. She is attacked by Yellow's minions, but their attacks do nothing to her. She returns the favor and all of her attacks take out any of the enemy that gets caught in it. Haru is also flying around, taking care of enemies who might try to get close to Yuniko. Suddenly, things start to go sideways when Yuniko's armament starts to get jammed by a signal. The missiles cannot reach where they are supposed to because there is someone jamming them. Haru has also been pinned to the ground by an enemy who uses electricity as his main power. The rest of the enemies bombard Yuniko and start to tear her fortress apart. They are trying to get into the armor and drag her out. She has no way to fight back because her signals have been jammed. While on the ground, Haru screams at Snow. He reminds her of how she has made the determination not to give up, no matter what. He also reminds her that she has promised to mow down any obstacles that are in her way so that she can get to level 10. He calls out her name, Black Lotus, and this is enough spark to wake Snow up. With Snow awake, the tables have turned. She tells Haru to push his hand into the earth to get rid of the electricity passing through him. He does this, and it works. Snow goes after the rest of the enemies that have surrounded Unico. She easily takes them out with her sharp blade. Haru also defeats his opponent. Yellow King is furious that Black Lotus showed up to ruin his plan. Snow goes after Yellow King, and she tells Haru to find the person jamming Unico's signal so she can be able to use her weapons. Haru finds the person, and as he flies toward the enemy, an anti-air missile is fired against him. Thanks to his training, he dodges the missile and eliminates the enemy. Unico's weapon gets activated and she is able to eradicate the rest of the enemies. Snow goes toe-to-toe with the Yellow King. This is the first battle of level 9 linkers since the beginning of the accelerated world, and it is a scene to watch. Snow activates her ultimate weapon. Yellow King is about to activate his when Chrome Disaster impales him from behind, leaving everyone speechless. They wonder how Chrome was able to make it to where they are in just a short period of time. Yellow King breaks free of his grip, but Chrome continues to devour the rest of his crew. Yellow King quickly tells his minions to retreat because their rabid dog has gone out of hand. Haru is shocked by what he is looking at. He wonders why Chrome is looking all scary. He suddenly loses the will to fight too. He is angry at himself for losing his will to fight because he just practically berated Snow for the same thing moments ago. It is now Snow's turn to get him out of the current mental state that he has fallen into. Snow understands why. He has fallen into such a state, and it is none other than the fear that he will get laughed at if he loses. He has been acting this way in their recent territories battles. Snow assures him that their bond will never be broken, no matter what happens. She doesn't care if he loses or not. With this, Haru regains his will to fight and he charges toward Chrome. Together, they stand to fight the monster. Just then, a Unico fires at both Snow and Chrome. She knocks the two of them down. Haru asks her why she did what she did, and she reminds Haru that they are all enemies in case he has forgotten. She tells Haru to take Snow and get out of there because once she is done with Chrome, she won't hesitate to eliminate both Haru and Snow. Haru considers Unico his friend, but Unico says Haru is just being naive. Unico gets close to Chrome, but finds it hard to deliver the execution. Chrome uses the opportunity to knock Unico to the floor. Snow then explains to Haru that Unico is not a bad person, but she is just confused. She reveals that Cherry is her parent, and this is the reason she finds it hard to execute him. Snow urges Haru to help Unico out because she is now their ally. Whether she wants to admit it or not, Haru gets up and saves Unico before she gets devoured by Chrome. Unico is shocked to see Haru coming to save her. Haru screams at her that they are allies, and he doesn't leave his friends to die. Haru reminds Unico that she is the only one who can free Cherry from the curse he is suffering from. Chrome gets up and starts to make long jumps toward the exit. Unico states that they need to stop him from escaping. Haru promises to restrain Chrome so that Unico can do the right thing. He chases after Chrome, and he soon notices that Chrome is actually using wires to connect himself to buildings. This is how he is making the long jumps. Haru gets in front of him and makes him connect the wire to his back. Chrome does this, and he is forced to crash into one of the buildings. Chrome attaches himself to Haru again. Haru powers himself up and flies to the sky. He hears Cherry talking to him about his desire to get strong, but Haru scolds him for allowing himself to be taken over by the armor. He makes a U-turn and delivers a fatal blow into Chrome's head that sends him crashing into the ground. With this, the armor comes off Cherry's body, leaving only his vulnerable armor. Unico goes close to him and delivers the execution blow to finally take Cherry off the Brain Burst program. After this, Unico reveals that she met Cherry at the orphanage school that she went to. She was a loner, but Cherry was the first person to talk to her and introduce her to the Brain Burst game. When she joined the game, she worked hard and soon surpassed Cherry, who brought him into the game. She was so focused on the game that she didn't pay attention to her friend in real life. She had no idea what Cherry was going through, and this is what made him vulnerable to the disaster armor. Haru then tells Unico that she now has another chance to fix things between her and Cherry in real life. Just then, Taku and Snow show up. Taku has used up his 1-hour revive time, and that's the reason he is back in this world. Suddenly, the world undergoes a transition into a greener environment. Snow explains that the world undergoes transitions at intervals. The team checks through their inventory to see if they have the Calamity armor, but none of them does. They are able to confidently say that they have finally eliminated the armor. They are about to leave the scene when the devouring message flashes through Haru's eyes. He doesn't take it to heart because he believes that he is just twitching. The camera shifts to his back to show a red at the back of his armor. Days later, Haru continues to impress in his duel games. He is starting to get more confident. He returns home one evening to find Unico waiting for him. She tells Haru that she has no proof to give the other kings that Yellow was the one who hid the armor, so he will be getting away with his crime. She also tells Haru that Cherry will be moving away to another town. He has found his real relatives. However, their relationship is getting better already. They will continue to stay connected via other VR games that are available. Haru tells her that she can take any of the VR games in his collection. Unico brings a bunch of cupcakes for Haru. He consumes the cake with joy, and he sheds tears of joy while doing so. In the next scene, Chiyu is prepared to get the Brain Burst program installed. She makes sure that she is connected to both Haru and Taku. Taku asks her if she really wants it done, and she says yes. He doesn't want Chiyu to have any regrets later on. The program starts to install, and thankfully, the Brain Burst program gets installed successfully. This comes as a shock to both Haru and Taku, who were expecting the installation program to fail. Later on, Haru wakes up from his usual weird dreams. He gets a call from Chiyu, who wants them to enter the VR world together. She just created a new space, and she wants Haru to see it. Haru is forced to join Chiyu in her new world. He finds out that the space is filled with different colors of things that look like balloons. Chiyu is also scared to sleep, but Haru tells her that she needs to sleep, or else her dual avatar will not form. Haru tells her that her avatar will be formed based on past traumatic experiences. While they are busy discussing, Chiyu sleeps off. The following day, Haru gets back to school and he is ambushed by Chiyu, who has been waiting for her. Together, they attend the new session speech together. Snow is the one giving the speech, and she urges the new students and returning students to work hard. In the middle of the speech, Snow gives off a weird reaction for a few seconds and Haru wonders what this is. Haru and Taku start to wonder if there is a burst linker among the new students, and this is the reason for Snow's weird reaction. After the speech, Haru and Taku decided to investigate the matter further. They say there is the possibility that the parent of the burst linker also attends their academy. Chiyu catches them during their investigation and offers to join in. They activate the burst link and they find themselves inside the Axel world. Chiyu has her avatar formed for the first time. Her avatar is all green and she has a witch cap. She also has a bell on her left arm. Her avatar's name is Lime Bell. They check the list of current burst linkers in the area and they find out that there is no strange name on the list. Without wasting any time, Chiyu decides to challenge Haru to a duel. She doesn't even know the rules yet or even her special move, but she doesn't care. She just wants to get in on the action. She tries to use her special move, called the Citron Bell, but Haru tells her that she needs to deal with or take in a certain amount of damage before she can use the special move. In short, the power gauge needs to be full. To get her power gauge full, she deals damage to some items around her. The gauge gets full and she attacks Haru with her special move, but nothing happens. Taku is shocked to see this, and he starts to wonder what could have gone wrong. He finally comes up with something. He tells Chiyu to hit Haru until the gauge fills up again. After this, he then tells her to use her power on him. She does this, and all of the HP that Haru has lost gets regenerated again. Taku realizes that Chiyu has a rare ability of a healer. Taku tells both Haru and Chiyu that they need to keep this strictly confidential. Shortly afterward, Haru tells Snow about this. She talks about how important Chiyu is and says people will start to gather just to obtain her. In the history of the Axel world, only 2 healers have appeared. One of them later left the Axel world after he got tired of how they were fighting over him. The one is now one of the kings, but Snow decides to keep his or her identity a secret. This means that Chiyu and the unknown king are the only healers in all of the Axel world. Snow doesn't want to tell Haru who the other healer is so he won't be tempted. However, Haru assures her that he is never leaving her. Snow also affirms this, and she says Haru belongs to her. Snow then tells Haru to inform Chiyu that she would like to see her. Haru wonders what Snow wants to tell Chiyu and hopes that the meeting doesn't end disastrously. Meanwhile, Chiyu has informed Taku that she will join the same legion as them. After Haru's meeting with Snow, she informs him that she is going on a trip to Okinawa. The trip will last for a week, which means Haru will be in charge till she gets back. She promises Haru to grant him any wish of his choice if he successfully defends all of their territories in her absence. Haru starts to think of what to get from Snow once he passes the test. As Haru is about to leave the hallway, he slips and runs into a guy. The guy gives him a helping hand. He appears to be a new student and a cool one at that. That night, Haru and Taku discuss their plan on how to defend their territories in Snow's absence. Haru believes that Chiyu should make a big difference in their battles. The following day, Taku participated in the kendo club practice. He still manages to win the first round even without using acceleration powers. Haru sees the new student from yesterday as one of the competitors and his name is Numi. He is the next person that will be fighting Taku. The fight begins, and Nomi elegantly dodges all of Taku's attacks. Haru can hear him say the word burst, but when he checks through the list of linkers in the area, Naomi is not on the list. With nothing to do, Naikon defeats Taku and he is declared the winner of the round. Naikon goes back to his seat, wearing an evil smile. After the practice, Haru and Taku sit down for a talk. Haru says, Naomi definitely accelerated, but he has no idea how he did it. They need to know if he really is a burst linker or not. Taku then reveals that Numi might have used the ability known as the physical burst. It is only available for level 9 linkers, but other people can use the command under it. This allows your body to accelerate, but it lasts just for 3 seconds. Now Kon is definitely not a level 9 linker, and this proves that he is using the physical burst. Taku feels bad but he cannot complain because he once used the burst powers to win his matches too. Chiyu berates him and says Taku is different from Naomi. Taku was winning the matches to impress Chiyu back then, but Numi is definitely doing it out of pure evil. What they need to do now is find out how Numi is hiding himself from the matching list. Taku offers to make some inquiries during the next club practice. Later on, Naomi, Taku, and Snow participate in the usual territorial battle, and they win. After the battle, Taku leaves for practice, while Haru tells Snow about Numi. Haru says they have no proof that he bursted during the match, but it was quite obvious. Snow wants to stay back, but Haru tells her that she needs to attend her trip. Naomi then asks Haru what she wants her to give him, and he says he wants pictures of her during the trip. Snow promises to send pictures of everything she does to him. Haru is in his room, thinking about Snow, when Taku's inbox comes in. He tells Haru that he has made some findings concerning Numi. He was unable to connect to his neural linker, but he found some old album pictures of someone who is older than them, and he has graduated. He has the same surname as Numi. Taku believes that the person is Numi's brother and parent. Later on, Haru decides to trail Numi from the club room to see where he will go. He heads to the bathroom to clean up and Haru follows him. Before entering the restroom, Haru looks up to confirm that he is entering the male's restroom and not the female. He finds a bag on the bench with a neural linker in it. He assumes that the linker belongs to Numi. This is his chance to find out what is going on. Just then, Chiyu comes out of the bathroom. Haru and Chiyu look at each other in total amazement and confusion. Chiyu hears some girls coming into the restroom and she drags Haru into the bathroom with her. Haru cannot believe that she is looking at Chiyu's bare body. He starts to wonder how he ended up in the female restroom. He realizes that Numi must have used visual, electronic masking to disrupt his vision and make him enter the female restroom. Haru cannot believe that he just fell for one of Numi's traps. As soon as the coast is clear, Chiyu lets Haru out of the bathroom. After this, Haru apologizes for what he saw, and he explains himself. Chiyu tells her not to tell anyone about it or she will end him. Chiyu feels like people are taking the game too seriously, and they are not supposed to. She complains about the fact that people in the game are not having fun. Suddenly, Haru gets an inbox from Naomi telling him to come to the courtyard, alone. He gets to the courtyard and he is shocked when Naomi says he has already won the game. Haru reminds him that they have not even engaged in a duel yet, and he is confused as to how Numi has won the game. Numi sends Haru a picture of him that was taken in the female restroom. He had a camera hidden there and Haru fell for his trap. He tells Haru that he will have to be his obedient dog from the moment forward. Haru has to do whatever he tells him, or else he will release the picture and Haru will be expelled. Just then, Chiyu shows up and tells Nomi that she will testify in front of everyone that she was the one who invited Haru into the bathroom to help her. This has just ruined Numi's plan. However, he shocks them from another angle. He reveals that he has a hidden camera in the female bathroom. He is waiting for the camera to be found, and when it is, he will upload the video recording he has of Haru. People will waste no time in picking Haru as the culprit. There is no way Chiyu will be able to cover for him. Just then, the school makes an announcement that something confidential has been found. Numi then grabs Chiyu and tells her that she also needs to listen to whatever he has to say. He now has the two of them on a leash. He mishandles Chiyu, and this infuriates Haru. He charges toward Nami with the physical burst and Nami does the same. However, Naoik wins the fight because he is more experienced. As punishment for making him use the physical burst and wasting 5 points, Naomi decides to challenge Haru to a duel. He activates the burst link and they get transformed into the Axel world. Numi's avatar looks all scary and this is going to be a tough match for Haru. Numi's avatar's name is Dusk Taker. He has informed Haru that he will be collecting points from him every week till he graduates from the school. Haru figures out that Nami has been blackmailing other linkers to get points. He didn't work to get to where he is. Haru tells Nami that he will not be surrendering his points very easily. He charges toward Nami and starts to deliver fatal punches to his head to reduce his HP as fast as possible. Numi's HP is almost drained when he suddenly grabs Haru by the leg and throws him off. Haru lands where there are skeleton hands. The skeletons trap him, giving Numi the advantage. Numi steps on him and Haru is shocked when one of Numi's arms regenerates again. Numi boasts that he got it from the last owner. Haru is confused by this and doesn't know what Numi means by the previous owner. Numi activates one of his skills, known as the Demonic Commander, and a bright light shines on Haru. It appears that Numi has used the light to absorb something from Haru. Haru frees himself and pushes Numi to the ground. He tries to activate his wings, so he uses a dash attack on Numi but finds out that he cannot. Now Khan reveals that he has taken Haru's aviation ability, and he has the capacity to keep it permanently. He tells Haru that he has the skill to take his opponent's special move, enhanced armaments, or abilities. Haru gets heartbroken when he hears that Nomi has the ability to hold his wings forever. He is very sad because that is the only thing that makes him special, he thinks. Nomi assures him that he will return his wings the day he graduates from the school. However, he will be donating points to him every week till then. Naoi delivers the finishing blow and takes Haru's points for the week. They return to the real world and Naoi tells Chiyu and Haru not to tell Taku and Snow about what happened. He claims that he needs to prepare very well before facing them. Haru falls to the ground with his hand covering his face. He sheds bitter tears as he looks into Chiyu's eyes. Later on, Taku notices that something is going on with the two because they look unusually dull. He asks Chiyu about it, and she tells him to ask Haru instead. Taku visits Haru to ask him what the problem is. Haru refuses to answer. Taku tries to tell him that he will be confidential with whatever he tells him, but Haru remains mute. To hurt Taku and make him leave, he starts to say hurtful words to him about his relationship with Chiyu. Taku knows that he is only saying all of that to hurt him and make him back off, but he still goes ahead to punch Haru. He is disappointed that Haru doesn't trust him enough to tell him what is going on. He apologizes for punching his friend and he leaves. Later that night, Haru gets up from bed to take a stroll. He starts debating whether to delete the game and just move on about it. He will only go back to the usual loser that he once was. After several thoughts about it, he gets on a bus. While on the bus, he decides to acquire points by fighting. He activates the burst link and finds himself in the post-apocalyptic stage once again. Once again, he will be fighting his first ever opponent, Ash Roller. Ash shows looking all excited as usual. His bike now has an upgrade and he can't wait to test it out on Haru. Haru, on the other hand, is dull and doesn't even reply to everything Ash is saying. The match begins, and Ash is expecting Haru to bring out his wings as usual, but Haru reveals that he has lost his wings. Ash doesn't put much thought into this and the game begins. Haru tries to defeat Ash with the first technique, but Ash has evolved and easily blocks the attack and knocks Haru to the wall. Haru refuses to leave the spot where he is lying and Ash is surprised by this. He knows that something is definitely wrong. He gets off his bike to ask Haru what the problem is. When he learns about the reason, Haru is being grumpy. He scolds him. However, Haru argues that he is nothing without his wings. Ash tries to motivate Haru, but it isn't working. Ash tells Haru that they will finish the match in a draw, but he should meet by 9 p.m. at the unlimited neutral field. When it is 9 p.m., the two meet at the neutral field and Ash drives Haru to the old Tokyo Tower. He is taking Haru to his parent for help. He claims that his parent was once known across the entire Axel world. He uses his wall climbing ability to go up the tower. Upon getting to the top, Haru realizes that there is a building on top of the wall. They move closer to the building, and a woman in a chair comes out to meet them. She introduces herself as Skyraker, and she says it is an honor to meet Haru. After Ash has introduced the two to each other, he prepares to leave. Haru wonders why someone in the Green Legion will be helping him. Ash teases him that he is preparing him for defection. Ash says farewell to his parent and leaves. After his departure, Skyraker tells Haru that she cannot help Haru get his wings back, as Ash has suggested. Haru gets heartbroken when he hears this. Raker lightens up his mood and informs him that she can help him to fly instead. Raker says she has been interested in Haru for a long time now. She explains to him that his decision-making in real life and what he has faced are what determined his avatar. These are the same things that gave him his aviation ability. Raker shocks Haru and tells him that his wings are not what made him fly. He already had the innate ability to fly, and the wings only emerged because of that. Basically, his wings are for show. Haru starts to argue with Raker that the burst power gave him his ability. Raker then tells him that the reason they can do everything they can depends on their willpower. She informs Haru that her wheelchair has no control whatsoever, and she is using it. She is using her mind to control the chair and make it do whatever she wants. Raker classifies it as image powers to make things easy for Haru to understand. It is the incarnate system of the Axel world. This is simply the will of the mind. Raker wants Haru to understand that he can fly without the use of his wings. All he needs is the will to do it. Raker once cut off her own legs while she was trying to push herself to the limit, but she failed. She was only able to leap high. She never gained the aviation ability like Haru. Haru finally agrees to learn how to use the will of mind to fly. Raker is happy to hear this. She tells Haru that it will take time for him to learn, but Haru doesn't mind. They decide to rest for the day and continue with the training the next day. That night, Raker decides to tell Haru a story of how she lost her leg and which legion she belongs to. The following morning, Haru's training drill begins. This is time for him to start his incarnation training. Raker pushes him off the tower. When he respawns, he realizes that Raker is trying to get him to climb the very tall tower to the end. Since the tower is made up of clay, he believes that he can just punch his way through before he gets to the top. He encounters a strong wind while climbing but manages to hold on. He is about to get to the top when the world undergoes transition again, causing him to fall off. This is now the third day and the tower has now become metallic. He tries punching it but fails. He then remembers what he is told, that image is power. He manages to change his mentality and he starts punching holes into the tower. He also remembers Snow's words about him being special, and this gives him more incentive. He continues to work hard, and on the 6th day, Haru has made enough progress. He then remembers what Raker told him about her legs. She wanted to fly at all cost, and she believed that her legs were dragging her back. She told her best friend that she wanted her leg gone. Her best friend doesn't want to accept this, but Raker said hurtful things to her to make her accept. Even with how much she hurt her friend found it hard to cut her legs. However, her friend finally does as she is instructed. The friend she was talking about is none other than Snow. Her legs were her greatest weapon, but she sacrificed it just because she wanted to fly. She later realized that she would never be able to fly because she had reached her limit. With all these words flowing through Haru's head, he fights hard and makes it to the top of the tower by jumping up there with a few meters to go. He thanks Raker for her help. Raker says she has nothing else to teach him, but she has a gift for him. She will give him her wings. Her enhanced armament is known as the Gale Thruster. With this, he will be able to fly past the limits that have been set before. Later on, Haru and Raker meet in real life. They enter a cafeteria to make use of a cable in the transfer of the Gale Thruster. Haru thanks Raker for everything she has done, but she tells him not to mention it. After the meeting, Raker tells Haru that he is a nice person. She instructs Haru to fight to protect what he loves. Haru also tells Raker to try to rekindle the relationship between her and Snow. Haru thanks Raker for the wings and promises to return them when he is done using them. Haru returns to class but refuses to talk to both Taku and Chiyu. He is determined to defeat Naomi all by himself. After class, he gets a video stream from Snow. She decides to show him a live video of herself in a swimsuit. She shows him all the places she has scars and how she got them. Haru is tempted to tell Snow about the events happening in school, but he cannot. He decides that he will get strong instead. They talked for some minutes before she hung up the call. Haru is on the training pitch when he suddenly gets thrown into the Axel world. Before that, he could see Taku activating the link. He believes that Taku is challenging him to a duel, and he wonders why. Just then, he realizes that Taku is not challenging him but Naomi. Haru is just a spectator in a match between Taku and Naomi. Taku accuses Naoki of over-cheating and this is the reason he wants to defeat him. Naomi is angry that Taku dragged him to a duel and he will have him miss less than 2 seconds. He promises to hurt Taku for this. He wants to take Taku's burst points for this. Taku then reveals that he is aware that Naomi has Haru's wings with him and he has plans to take it back. He learned this from Ash. He apologizes to Haru for not noticing this earlier. Haru is hyped and he is in support of Taku defeating Naomi. Naomi doesn't look concerned and he is even pretty confident that Taku is not a match for him. The match begins and Taku traps Naomi in an enclosed area. There is no way for him to leave the area unless he gets past Naru. Naomi decides to shock the two. He says he has something he didn't want to show them before, but he no longer has a choice. He starts to use the power of the mind and Haru recognizes this. He tells Taku to finish it quickly, but it is too late. He knocks Taku to the ground very easily. He then cuts through the walls that Taku thought he couldn't get out of before. Naomi says the technique is only known to the 7 kings and their associates. Haru starts to wonder how Naomi got the technique. Naomi tells Taku that he will also start serving as his dog. He will do everything he wants, including being his pet in the kendo club. He is about to defeat Taku and take his points when Haru starts to beg him. He offers him his own points instead of Taku's. He bows down and begs Naomi to get his points instead of Taku's. Naomi accepts, and Haru tells Taku to change the match to Battle Royale mode. Naomi goes close to Haru and he is about to eliminate him for points when Haru grabs his leg and throws him off. Naomi is surprised that Haru has made the decision to fight him. Haru immediately activates the will of the mind and he attacks Naomi with it. Naomi is left dumbstruck because he didn't expect Haru to know the technique. Haru cuts off one of his arms. Naokon says he has not used up his aces either. He flies to the sky and rains down fire on Haru. Haru manages to avoid the fire. Naomi tells Haru that the fire deals damage to the environment continuously, and this also regenerates his power gauge. This means he can never run out of power when fighting. He sees himself as invincible. However, Haru tells him that he is wrong. Haru activates the wings Raker gave to him and he jumps toward Naomi. He cuts through Naok again and leaves him fatally wounded. Naok is still not ready to give up, and he wants to see who has the strongest willpower between him and Haru. They charge toward each other. Haru grabs Naomi and starts pushing him to the ground. Naomi believes that Haru is trying to crash them into the ground, but he receives a shocker. Taku has been preparing himself while the two are fighting. He meets Naomi halfway with his special move, and he pushes his large spear into Naomi. Naomi crashes to the ground. Haru tells Naomi that he no longer has a chance of defeating them because they are now together. Haru starts getting close with the intention of finishing Naomi off. Out of nowhere, Chiyu shows up, and she uses her power to heal Naomi. This comes as a shock to both Haru and Taku. They start to wonder why he did it. Meanwhile, Snow is still on her trip to Okinawa. She is worried about Haru, but doesn't want to call him. She wants to have fun because that's what Haru would have wanted. She still has 5 more days to go. She is completely lost in thought and has no idea when Megumi, her trip partner, is calling her. Megumi had to touch her before she could come back to her senses. Megumi forces to have a massage and this puts Snow in a high mood. After playing in the sun, they enter the hotel room to relax. Snow forgives Megumi for forcefully massaging her. Megumi talks about how she always has the belief that there is another world where there are new encounters and the like. While the two are walking through the street, Snow sees something that reminds her of Haru. Megumi and Snow decide to take a separate route through the market and meet each other later. They promise to get each other souvenirs. Megumi is excited about this because this is what she has always wanted. A time to connect with Snow. After they have separated, Snow suddenly finds herself in the Excel world. She has been challenged to a duel. She is surprised that there is a burst linker out there in Okinawa. The challenger, Lagoon, shows up with her sister. Snow is even more surprised that there are 2 burst linkers in the area aside from her. The 2 girls look absolutely excited to be going up against Snow. Ruka is the most excited, but Mana is still somewhat reserved. Ruka wastes no time in charging towards Snow. However, she is not a match for the Black Lotus. Snow easily disposes of Ruka. After Ruka has been defeated, she accepts defeat and asks Snow for a favor. Snow is impressed with her fighting skills, and she decides to hear them out. The two start calling Snow their big sis in no time. They request that she meet them in real life. Before she has the option to deny, the 2 girls burst out. Moments later, Snow meets with the girls at a cafeteria. She is surprised that the 2 girls told her their actual real-life names. She asks if their master didn't tell them not to reveal their identity and they say yes. The only thing their master told them was not to use the Excel world for bad things and not talk about it to just anyone. The duo then tells Snow the reason they want to meet with her. They reveal that their master needs her help. There is a monster giving their masters problems, and this has even caused him to fall into a bad state. Snow accepts to meet their master. They want her to meet their master immediately, but Snow cannot. Just then, she remembers that she is supposed to pick a gift for Megumi. She rushes from the scene to find Megumi waiting for her, where they are supposed to meet. Snow didn't get Megumi anything, but Megumi got her something. Megumi is totally disappointed and she just walks into the room with tears in her eyes. Snow follows her, and she apologizes for what she did. She reveals that she actually has another world where she spends most of her time. She apologizes for this and reveals that Megumi has been the one acting as her anchor in the real world. Since she met her at the entrance ceremony, Megumi has been the best person to her. Megumi accepts her apology. She is about to tell Snow something very important when she gets a notification about the committee meeting. She is forced to leave to attend the meeting. Shortly afterward, Snow meets up with Ruka and Mana. They make their way to a building where they can cable and enter into the unlimited neutral world without any disturbance. Meanwhile, someone is trailing the trio. They find somewhere to sit. They share the same cable, but Mana starts acting weird. Ruka tells Snow to give Mana another cable to hold. It is something like a ritual for her. After she has done this, the trio activates the burst link and finds themselves in the neutral world. The trio moves to where Ruka and Mana's master will be waiting. They find a bar and they enter. Ruka and Mana tell their master that they have brought someone to help concerning the monster problem, but he doesn't seem to care. He is not even facing them yet to know who they have brought. He says no one below level 9 can help. He even wants the Black Lotus herself. Snow shouts at him to turn his face, and when he does, he is surprised to see the Black Lotus standing in front of him. It appears that Snow knows him and he knows her too. Snow calls him by his name, Kriken. Kriken explains that he moved to Okinawa when his parents divorced. He has been trying to expand the Excel world in Okinawa, but things are kind of slow. Mana and Ruka are his relatives. He found a way to install the game in Ruka, and after she had leveled up, also, the game was installed in Mana. This is how they have been running things. Just then, they hear a loud bang outside the bar. They rush outside to find out that the monster is already attacking again. The monster has been eating everyone in the region. Meanwhile, Megumi has found the room where Snow, Ruka, and Mana are all cabled together. Back in the neutral world, Kriken explains to Snow that the monster was tamed by someone. This means that the person who tamed the monster is also a bad person. The monster gets close to them and Snow tells the other three to leave because she still has something very important to ask the monster and its rider. The rider reveals his name to be Sulphur Pot, and the dragon he is riding is called Nick. Snow could easily figure out that he is using a backdoor. He is playing the game from Tokyo, but he is here, in Okinawa, hunting low-level enemies for points. Sulphur does not deny this, and this shows that Snow is telling the truth. It is time to fight the monster and Sulphur. Snow asks Kriken if he is up to the task, and he says yes. Kriken tells his relatives to find the biggest metals that they can find and gather them into a pile. Kriken tries to attack the dragon with just normal screws, but that will not be enough to penetrate the thick armored walls of the dragon. Kriken is knocked to the wall by the dragon. Snow activates her overdrive ability and she is able to deal some damage to the dragon. Moments later, the girls arrive with the largest heap of metals that they can find. Kriken jumps on the metals and activates his power. The metals transform into giant body armor for Kriken. Kriken, who was nothing but a small screw before, turned into a giant mecha that looks like a Megazord. He is able to stand toe-to-toe with the monster, thanks to his ability. The dragon uses its fire, but nothing happens to Kriken. Kriken opens his weaponry and fires several missiles at the dragon. Mana and Ruka are impressed by this. Snow reveals that Kriken was the one with the strongest long-distance firepower in the Axel world's history before the Red King, Scarlet, shows up. Sulphur is angry that Kriken has dealt a lot of damage to the dragon. He releases a burst of gunpowder at Kriken before instructing the dragon to breathe fire on him. The reaction from this is enough to break down Kriken's armor and return him to his usual small self. Nick and Sulphur are currently winning the fight. Back in the real world, Megumi is about to unplug the cables when Mana's consciousness stops her. She offers her a way to enter into the unlimited burst world. She accepts and enters the scene in a grand manner. Snow sees Megumi, and she is surprised by this. She wonders if Megumi was a burst linker before, or if she was summoned into this world with some kind of trick. Nick is about to attack again when Megumi uses her ability to force a transition. The stage immediately changes into a water stage. After she has done this, Megumi leaves. Everyone gets thrown into the water. The dragon is now pretty useless. While it is in the water, Ruka and Mana attack the dragon, creating a distraction for Snow to cut off its reins. With this, Sulphur loses control of the dragon. He still tries to control the dragon, but it ends up consuming him. After the battle is over, Snow compliments Kriken and the girls for giving their best. Kriken hands Snow the mystical reins he found at the bottom of the ocean. Snow doesn't want to collect it, but the girls tell her that it might come in handy one day. Snow decides to wait for Sulfur to get revived so she can interrogate him. The following day, Snow and Megumi begin their journey back to Tokyo. The girls and Cricken were there to say farewell to her. It turns out that Megumi had no memories of what happened the day before, and Snow is not ready to talk about it. Snow then narrates that she was able to interrogate Sulfur, and he revealed that he was working for an organization. Snow is worried about this organization and she is scared that they will have to fight them someday. A quick scene is shown to tell us that Megumi and Snow later got each other gifts. It turns out that they got each other identical items and they didn't buy them from the same store. Continuing with the fight between Haru, Taku, and Numi, they are completely shocked when Chiyu shows up and heals Numi, who is already on the verge of defeat. Numi makes fun of them and this infuriates the two. Taku blindly goes after Numi, but he easily cuts him down. Seeing his friend defeated, Haru gets angrier. His anger starts to take over him, and the calamity armor that was already in his body starts to manifest. The armor grants Haru the strength he needs as he starts to walk toward Numi. His silver armor changes to dark red and he emits a dark aura from his body. Numi still doesn't seem concerned with everything going on. Haru attacks him and Numi gets scared from the effect of the first punch that Haru landed on him. The two go toe-to-toe with neither of the two, ready to give up. Chiyu starts screaming for them to stop but they are far gone already. However, the two are stopped by the timer, and they both get logged out of the burst world. Haru finds himself where he was before. He is still very much angry and he is still fixated on eliminating Numi. He makes his way to where Numi is, but Taku stops him halfway. Taku tells Haru to try and control his anger. He is also angry, but they need to calm down before things go out of hand. They need to figure out a way to approach Numi so that they won't fall into his trap. The two finally contact Chiyu. She meets them in a place where there is no surveillance so that Numi won't have a way to spy on them. The two ask her why she betrayed them and join Numi. They want to know if Numi threatened her with something but she says no. She tells the two that she made the decision to join up with Numi by herself. The two don't want to believe this, but she assures them that she is telling the truth. They even ask if Numi has a listening device on her, but she says no. She is doing this of her own free will, she says. She runs away when she realizes that the two are about to start putting pressure on her. Later that day, Taku decides to spend the night at Haru's place. Haru is still in doubt that Chiyu joined up with Nomi of her own free will. However, Taku thinks Chiyu is actually serious. Haru then points out that there is no reason why Chiyu should join Numi. She should know that Numi will use her and dump her afterward. They need to find a way to save Chiyu. Taku understands this, but it is hard for them to even defeat Naomi. They need to defeat him so that they can know the whole truth. To even challenge him is a problem because he doesn't come on the matching list. Haru believes that Nomi is running out of points because he is using too much to get good grades in tests and for the kendo competition too. If they manage to defeat him a couple of times, he should lose all of his points. Taku thinks that defeating Naomi will be very difficult because he now has the healing ability coupled with the aviation ability on his side. Haru tells Taku about the incarnate ability. He believes that it will help them a lot if Taku can learn it. The two decide that they will have to visit Raker once again. After all of this discussion, Taku leaves. After the departure of his friend, Haru starts to wonder what took over him when he was fighting Naomi earlier on. That night, Haru wakes up from a gory dream. He saw himself causing Snow pain just because he wanted them to be together. This gives him the chills because he will never hurt Snow. After settling down, he enters into the direct link and contacts Snow. The two sit together to enjoy the nice scenery that Snow just acquired. Later that day, Haru discusses with Taku. Taku has tried to find out more about the incarnate ability, but he realized that it is top secret. However, there are few people who know about it. The Seven Kings know about it, and he believes that their master should know about it. He thinks they should ask Snow about it, but Haru says no. He believes that Snow will immediately know that something is up if they ask her. He is also worried that Snow will come back from her trip immediately if she finds out about what is going on. Haru thinks of contacting Yuniko to ask her about the incarnate ability. She is a king after all, and she should know about it. Later that day, Haru is interviewed by one of the teachers. He asks Haru what he did on the day the camera was found, but Haru says he didn't do anything. After he leaves the office, he is taken to the roof by one of the students. Upon getting to the roof, the student punches him and says his girlfriend was in the bathroom when the camera was found. Everyone now believes that Haru is the culprit. He can't take a step without people staring at him. Haru is used to this kind of treatment, so he just tries to keep his calm. No one even wants to sit around him in the dining hall. Haru is determined not to get broken by everything that is happening to him. All of the students start to receive mail about the worst nickname that can be given to Haru. Taku receives the mail too, but he deletes it immediately. He feels very heartbroken to see Haru going through all of this. On the other hand, Haru has contacted Yuniko. He tells her that he and Taku want to see her. Yuniko is not one to refuse a meeting from Haru. Shortly afterward, Haru and Taku meet so that they can go to a restaurant together. On their way to his house, Haru explains to Taku how he got involved in everything. He revealed how he fell into Numi's trap and how he saw Chiyu's bare body inside the bathroom. Taku doesn't even show any sign of anger toward Haru. In fact, he pities him. He blames the teacher for interrogating Haru without proper investigation first. They arrive at the restaurant and Yuniko is already waiting for them. Once they are settled, Haru tells Yuniko the essence of their meeting. Yuniko gets furious when she hears that Haru wants her to teach Taku how to use the incarnate systems. She tells the waiter that they will be making use of the inner chambers in the meantime. Upon entering, she scolds Haru for talking about the incarnate system just anywhere. She asks Haru where he learned of the incarnate system, and he reveals that he got the info from Numi. Yuniko says she wouldn't have opted to help them, but she is sure that they will hit her with the "she owes them" phrase. They once helped her when she ran into issues, so she is on the belief that they are trying to get her to pay her debt. She accepts to lecture Taku on what it takes to master the incarnate system, but she only has 30 minutes to spare because she needs to be back at her dorm by then. This is equivalent to 20 days in the Excel world. She believes that Taku should have gotten everything that there is to learn about the incarnate system by then. Now that they are on the same page, they activate the unlimited burst to get thrown into the Axel world. Upon getting to the snow stage, she starts by explaining the details of the incarnate system to them. She asks Haru to demonstrate what he has learned. When he does this, Yuniko says his technique is still pretty weak. He calls Haru a beginner. She tells them that there are 4 techniques. She shows them the first, which is the attack range augmentation. The second is the movement ability augmentation. The third and fourth are the power augmentation and armor strength augmentation. However, she cannot use the last 2 techniques that she mentioned. She cannot use them because you only learn incarnation techniques that suit your dual avatar. The techniques were not created to defeat your enemies, but to confront one's weaknesses. This is the reason it should only be used when it is being used against you, she explains to the 2. After the lecture, it is time for training. Taku reveals what brought about his dual avatar. He explains what brought about how his dual avatar was created. He was severely bullied when he was in middle school. All of the upperclassmen in his kendo team always picked on him. The rod on his avatar is a result of what he wanted back then. He always wished to skewer his bullies, but he didn't have the means then. Haru gets emotional when he learns about all of this, but Taku says it's okay. After revealing the scars from his past, Taku is now finally ready for training. Haru, on the other hand, says he will start to investigate why Naomi's name is not showing up on the matching list. When Haru returns to the real world, he is shocked to find the waitress waiting for him. He wants to run away, but the waitress stops him. The waitress reveals that the restaurant is the Red Legion's base. Her avatar name is Leopard and Yuniko has asked her to help Haru out with his investigation. They leave the restaurant through the back via a nice and cool looking motorcycle. She reveals that they are heading to the Yellow Legion territory because she suspects that the breakout in the network that Numi is using is coming from there. Meanwhile, Taku is trying hard to get his training right. Haru and Leopard soon arrive in Akihabara, which is the Yellow Legion's territory. They head into a dive cafe. They sit together on one chair and Leopard tells him to enter the access gate with Akihabara BG tag when he has fully dived. They dive into the direct link and Haru realizes that Leopard already prepared a disguise for them. They are able to blend in with this. Leopard tells Haru that they are in the only neutral battleground in the whole of Akihabara. Leopard approaches the matchmaker to ask him some questions about the player who doesn't appear on the match list. The matchmaker reveals that the player has been giving them issues too, and they want to get rid of him. Haru asks about the name of the said player and the matchmaker says he is called Rust Jigsaw. Haru is surprised to hear a different name from the one he was expecting. He tells the matchmaker that there is also another person that is on the same network as him, but his avatar name is different. This calls for more concern because they can't allow things to continue that way. Leopard decides that she will use Haru as bait. The maker wants to know who Haru is, and Leopard reveals that he is the famous Silver Crow from Nega Nebulas. Leopard and Crow decide to team up together. They believe that Rust will show up once he learns that Crow is around. The news about Haru losing his aviation ability has spread far and wide. He will see this as the perfect opportunity to eliminate Haru. Leopard then tells Crow not to use the incarnate system unless it is used against him. He is surprised to hear this again because Yuniko said the same thing. Leopard reveals that the user of the incarnate system gets drawn to the darkness each time they use the power. This is what brought about the existence of the Chrome disaster in the first place, and this is the reason the kings are keeping the existence of the power a secret. Just then, the duo gets accelerated. It turns out that Rust is there already. Leopard believes that Rust will try to split them apart and take out Haru first. She urges Haru to stay close to her to prevent this. Rust sends long-distance attacks at the two, but they manage to stay close to each other as they charge toward their opponent. They land on the roof, where he is operating from, but they still cannot get close to him because he has several traps set around him. To get close to him, Leopard takes all of Haru's special moves to fill up her own gauge. This grants her the ability to activate her own special move. She transforms into an actual leopard shape and tells Haru to sit on her. With this, she has more maneuverability. She charges toward Rust while also evading the traps he has laid down. They are able to get close to him and Leopard delivers the finishing blow to win the match. They leave the Axel world and Leopard tells Haru that they need to get outside the dive cafe as fast as possible to try and identify Rust in real life. She dealt much damage to his right arm, and this should also tell for some time in real life. They get outside the building, and Haru looks to the front. He spots Rust and as he is about to run after him, he is disturbed by a lady advertising a product to him. This caused him to lose track of Rust. Later that evening, Haru and Taku both share their different experiences. Haru tells Taku that he was able to get a good look at Rust's back. He gave the information to the matchmaker. Hopefully, he will be able to identify Rust with the description he gave him. The following day at school, Taku informs Haru that Numi and Chiyu are now a team. They have a 100% win rate. Numi smokes his enemies like they are nothing. Taku is now worried because Snow might not be able to handle the situation like they both think. They need to do everything in their power before Saturday. Nomi has gotten more powerful than they think. Later that day, Haru decides to visit Chiyu at her house. Chiyu opens the door and allows Haru in because Haru claims that there is something important that he needs to talk to her about. He notices that Chiyu is no longer attending her club training. He wants her to stop making the game a priority over her real life. However, Chiyu doesn't seem to care anymore because she is getting popular in the Axel world. Chiyu then assures Haru that she is obeying Nomi of her own free will. She obeys him in the game, doesn't mean she will obey him in real life. After Haru hears this, he quietly leaves. However, he assures Chiyu that he will defeat Nami and take back everything he has taken from him. Haru then sits down to think about all the things that have happened since Numi showed up. He believes that he will find a clue in one of his memories. As he looks through his memories, he remembers that Rust made a hand gesture when he saw him. He was not wearing a neural linker when he did this. This means he was using another form of VR machine. Haru does research about the VR machines that were created in the 2020s. During his research, he found an organization that used brain chip implants back then. He is happy that he now has a lead. The next day, he sets up a meeting with Numi. He lets Numi know that he has found out about his secret. He has a VR installed as a chip into his brain. This program was discontinued after 3 years because it was used for hacks and also to cheat during tests. This is the reason Numi has not been showing up on the match list. He only wears his neural linker before a duel. The use of this brain chip has been declared illegal by the government and Naomi shouldn't be using it. Numi will get expelled if Haru exposes this. Naoki realizes that Haru has his hands tied, and he asks him what he wants. Haru wants them to decide everything with a duel in the Axel world. He is not ready for them to destroy each other in real life. Naomi then suggests that they fight in the unlimited field. There is an item inside there that duelers can charge all their points into. The winner of the duel will take all the points and the loser will lose his or her access to brain bursts. Haru accepts the conditions and he sends Taku a list too. They need to be wary of Naomi because he might also be leading them into a trap. Haru is hyped to finish off Numi and settle everything before Snow comes back. Soon afterward, Haru is in his house when Taku and Chiyu show up. He is surprised to see Chiyu and he needs to ask what she has come to do. Chiyu then apologizes to the two. She begs them to take her with them when they want to go to the unlimited field. She reveals that Naomi was the one who told her to betray them in the first place, but she doesn't want to do his bidding again. Haru doesn't want to accept Chiyu's proposal, but Taku begs him to. He reminds Haru that he once forgave him for attacking Snow. Haru finally listens to Taku after some words of conviction. He decides that Chiyu will follow them into the unlimited field. Haru set up everything that needed to be done. After this, the trio dives into the unlimited field. Seconds later, Numi joins them. He brings out the device for them to store their points. He is the first to charge his points inside of it. Haru and Taku follow suit after this. The countdown begins for them to fight. Haru rushes toward Naomi, but he falls into a trap. He is surprised by this because he didn't make known the exact location of the stage that they are going to use. He looks up to see one of Nami's associates there. Nami reveals that his associate has a more advanced chip than the one in his head. This allowed him to stay on stage for quite some time. He has the deceleration ability inside of the acceleration world. Haru is feeling so much pressure from the two heavy blocks that are about to crush him to death, but he is not giving up. While Haru is trapped, Numi decides that he will deal with Taku before coming back to Haru. Haru has also lost his ability to use voice commands because of the weight around him. Taku manifests a sharp-looking blade but Numi doesn't even seem concerned. Haru is quietly praying for Taku to win the match. He hopes that Taku will be able to believe in himself enough to annihilate Numi. Taku is able to stand toe-to-toe with Numi. He manages to find confidence in his past, and he hits Numi with this. Numi tries to use the demonic commander's ability against Taku to steal his ability, but Taku repels him. He knocks Numi to the ground and calls him greedy. Taku has been able to figure out why Numi is not able to steal his ability. That is because there are a number of abilities he can keep at the same time. He mocks Naomi for being nothing but an empty thief, who only likes to steal what belongs to other people. Nomi retorts that he is not empty. He blames his older brother for what he has become. He says his brother is the one who forcefully installed the brain burst into his brain. His brother did this so he could collect points from him. His brother even stole everything from him, and this includes the girl he liked back then. His pride as a human is gone, he says. However, he later got his revenge. He took away his brother's points until he lost the brain burst program. He sees his brother as the loser and not him. Nomi promises to take away everything that Taku and Haru have. This includes their friendship and all. He angrily gets back on his feet, and he grabs Chiyu. This shocks Taku, and he reminds Nomi that Chiyu is not part of the death match. He starts to torture Chiyu, causing Taku to surrender himself. This gives Nomi the chance to go after Taku. He starts to beat him up and mock him at the same time. He says their human bond will be their downfall, and the main reason they will lose to him. Haru is totally broken, seeing Nomi take his friend apart. However, he finds it hard to free himself from where he is trapped. He believes that he has reached the end already. his avatar enters the 0 stage. This is the stage where the avatar believes that there is nothing to be done again and loses all will to fight. However, something tells Haru not to give up because the brain burst has given him lots of opportunities. He sees an image of Snow and this is enough catalyst to break free from his bondage. Numi is about to eliminate Taku when this happens. He is thrown into shock when Haru charges toward him, but he easily dodges Haru's attack because he is still weak from the amount of energy he has exhausted, breaking free from where he was. Nomi turns his attention back to Taku and is about to finish him off when he suddenly loses one of his limbs. They look up to see who could have done such. They find out that it is none other than Snow. She arrived on a flying horse. Naomi is shocked to see Snow. He demands to know how Snow is with them at the moment. She reveals that she dived directly from Okinawa. She tamed the horse and used it to fly directly here to Tokyo, she says. Numi is terribly shaking already at the sight of the Black Lotus. Snow turns to Numi's associate and demands to know his name. He reveals that his name is Black Vise and he is the vice president of the Acceleration Research Society. Snow asks if Sulphur Pod is a member of their society and he says yes. Snow draws her sword and promises to inflict triple the pain they have inflicted on her legion members on Numi and his associate. She tells Haru to get up and defeat his enemy, Numi, while she takes care of the Black Vise. Haru gets up and tells Naomi that he could have gotten friendship if he asked for it when he joined the school. However, he has lost that opportunity now. Nomi says he doesn't care. All he wants is to defeat Haru. Nomi flies to the sky but Haru follows him with his thrusters. He continues to attack Numi repeatedly, trying to eliminate him before the energy in the thruster gets burned up. He grabs Numi and he is about to finish him off, when Chiyu uses her special move to heal Numi again. Haru is thrown into total dismay at the sight of this. Numi mocks Haru and says Chiyu is loyal to him and him alone. Numi grabs Haru and he is about to annihilate him when he suddenly loses his aviation ability. The ability immediately returns to Haru and Numi continues to crash down. Haru is happy to have his wings back. He soars high into the sky and dives down hard toward Numi. He delivers a fatal blow that tears Nai apart, leaving his body parts scattered on the floor. Naoni starts to wonder why he lost his aviation ability. Chiyu stands up and moves closer to him. She reveals that her ability was never healing. She says her real power is the power to rewind time. She found out about this the first time Numi forced her to heal him. She then decided to join up with Numi so she could level up faster. She is then able to rewind time back to the exact day that Nami stole Haru's aviation ability from him. Chiyu screams at Naomi and tells him that she was never his ally. Nomi then results in blackmail. He wants Vises to help him or he will leak everything about the research society. Vise reminds him that once the brain burst program is installed, the chip in his brain will also dissolve without any traces. Vise then tells the group that he will retreat because he has no grudges against the team in the first place. He also does not have any of their real life information. Vis adds that he never wants anything to do with the Black Lotus again, because having fought her, he has come to the conclusion that she will easily annihilate him if she wants to. With this, Vise quickly escapes before Snow can eliminate him. Numi realizes that he is now alone with no one coming to help or rescue him. He starts begging Haru not to eliminate him because he is not ready to lose all of his points and the brain burst program. Haru doesn't even argue with him. He just moves closer to him and ends everything. After the dust has settled, Snow compliments both Taku and Haru for a job well done. She then reveals that Chiyu was the one who told her everything that was happening. The boys are surprised to hear this. Chiyu then reveals that she decided to inform Snow of everything because she definitely knows that Haru and Taku are stubborn enough not to tell her. She was able to inform Snow of the exact time that the duel would take place. Snow thanks Chiyu for taking such an important step. Chiyu then tells the two that she will officially join their legion. With this, the group logs out and returns to the real world. Upon returning to the real world, the boys thank Chiyu for her help, because they wouldn't have been able to pull off the plan without her. She hugs the two and tells them how much she loves them. Shortly afterward, Snow arrives back in Tokyo. She is welcomed by Haru at the train station. They go to her place to discuss everything that happened. Haru tells Snow about how he went to Raker for help. Snow is happy that Raker was able to help him. Snow stands up and gets closer to Haru. She hugs him to comfort him because of everything he has faced. She apologizes for not being with him when he was going through everything alone. This is an emotional moment for the two as they renew their strong bond with each other. Haru returns to school to find out that his name has been cleared concerning the bathroom scandal. Snow rewrote the list of missing items and this helped to clear his name. Later on, Haru runs into Numi. He tries to have a discussion with him but finds out that Numi hardly has memories of their dealings together. Haru remembers that a user loses all traces of brain burst game memories once it is uninstalled. This is the reason the Excel world remains hidden. Haru asks Snow if there is a way to know more about the game and Snow tells him that they need to get to level 10 to be able to ask the developer of the game. Haru and Snow then promise to never forget each other even if the game is uninstalled. Later that evening, Haru sets up a meeting between Raker and Snow. Haru gives Raker her wings back and thanks her for her help. Raker is about to leave, but Snow summons the courage to call her back. With tears running down both their cheeks, they run into each other's arms because they have missed each other so much. We finally learn that Snow's real name is Sachin, while Raker's name is Fuko. As the season comes to an end, Haru narrates that humans will always move forward as long as they have the will.